Hey friends and fam, I'm so glad you guys stopped by today because this is a video that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I started to not do this video because my man cave, the video game room, the nostalgia room, the retro room, whatever you want to call this space right here, my personal space, my private collection, it's a lot of stuff that I'm not 100% happy with. You know, there's parts of the room that I was hoping I would, have a little bit more evolved by now. And I started to do a video game room tour last year and I didn't do it because I was feeling the same type of way. But hey, what I've learned watching other people on YouTube show off their rooms, their collection, and they do it every single year in a series, is that that's kind of the point of it. Like, you start off with one thing, and throughout the years, your community, your people that watch it, your subscribers, they get to watch it with you, watch your stuff evolve. And, this stuff slowed down the past couple of years, me building the house, getting married, having to take care of a lot of other responsibilities. This is the last thing that ever gets any money put towards it, if any at all. So it's kind of slowed down a little bit, but we still got a lot of cool stuff from the childhood. And there's a story about, me and why video games are important to me, how it all ties into my brother, who we lost on December 8th, 2007. Me and him have a rich history of playing video games together. He was the one that, got me into liking video games whenever we were little. So we got a lot to cover. I'm not going to try to waste a lot of you guys' time. So let's get started, shall we? Okay, hold up. Before we get started, I feel like before we even enter the room, we're gonna walk through the hallway here and just kind of show you guys, like, this is the hallway. We have stuff commemorating things all throughout our house, and right here in the hallway that's right past the guest bathroom and the other guest bedroom, we've got this shrine of past dogs that we've had in our life. Gypsy, we lost a couple years ago. You guys might have remembered that watching me on TikTok whenever we had to say our goodbyes to her. She was our three-legged German Shepherd. She got old. We have a box here, remember, like her collar. We've got one of her paw prints. She unfortunately just got old. She couldn't hardly move anymore, and we had to do that unfortunate thing of having a vet come to the house and put her down. And I hate to start the video off so gloomy like that, but it's also a beautiful thing to have this in your house. This right here is a picture, a painting that a good friend of mine did, Miss Janet, of my dog Dana that I had whenever I was in high school. She died shortly before I even built this house. So it's nice to have her in this house as well. Like, she still made it here. She was with me, when I was going through high school and doing that phase, getting out into the real world and still living home, mom and dad, wanting that dream, wanting that house. And it's always a good thing to be able to walk by and know that, like, she's here. She saw it. She got to see me build the house that I always wanted. And over here on this wall is like me and my wife's first year. Every single month, my wife saved a picture from our very first year together. Very first time we first started dating, and then we went on our trip to Chattanooga. We went to Ruby Falls. It's a great year. It's a cool year. And you can always tell that me and her had a good personality right around here in this month. This was probably the month right here, actually, that Dana died, my German Shepherd. Me and her had to go to a wedding like a couple days after that. So right up in this area was a real rough patch of my life, but I had her. And that's also another thing, like, I ain't trying to spend too much time on the dogs, first time in this thing, but dogs are a big part of our life. My German Shepherd, Kylo, shares this room that I'm about to show you guys because we love him so much. It's like, she was there with me in my life whenever I was going through that phase of my life, and around the time I met my wife and me and her started hanging out. And I was able to buy my land and get started on this phase whenever, her time was up. She had served her purpose. So enough with the dogs and the gloomy past. Like I said, I didn't really want to spend too much time on that, but it's important to know, like, there's important reasons and things why stuff are in this house. And, well, it's time to finally get to the game room. And for those of you that's been following me on TikTok watching the skits, you probably remember this PlayStation hoodie that Devin wore in some of his skits. Yeah, this is a jacket my wife made me, and I absolutely love it. It's got the PlayStation buttons here on the side of it. It's got the channel name right here, actually in the square. A lot of people don't realize that, JC93. And then, of course, the almighty PlayStation logo. I feel like Willy Wonka in the video game series, whatever. Anyway, this is what you guys have been patiently waiting for, the room tour. All right. I know that the number one thing everybody's most interested about in this video is the shrine itself, is the video game wall. This is where I have stuff on display. This is old video games. This is newer stuff. We're going to get to that in just a minute, but I feel like I've got to address some of the stuff that you might be seeing in a room that isn't video game related and just wondering why there either is so much of it or why it's here. What is that? And first thing we can talk about is the guitar wall. Now, I started playing guitar whenever I was 13 years old. Never really got in a band or anything like that. Did a talent show here and there. Played with some friends every once in a while. And I learned a few things along the way. And one of the coolest things whenever I was playing guitar is that I actually got to meet Jeff Cook, the lead guitarist of Alabama. My mom was a big fan of that group. They were a country group. They were a legendary country group in the 80s. They won Vocal Group of the Year many times, Entertainers of the Year many times. They won Artist of the Decade in the 1980s. Like, they were a huge band. And it's actually a sad, unfortunate thing. A lot of people don't know who they are, but more than likely you've heard their songs at some point. You just didn't realize who they were. So I've got autographed posters from my mom that she let me have, and I, of course, got them framed. I got them sitting up on the wall there where they're safe and out of harm's way, obviously. I've got a guitar back here that's signed by Jeff Cook, the lead guitarist himself, who sadly, unfortunately, passed away a few years ago. He was a very good friend. He was a very good person. And he was one of the few people that inspired me to play guitar along the way. So if you've seen my videos and you've seen Devin playing the guitar or whatever, that's where that comes, is that I know how to play guitar, but I don't consider myself no just master at it or anything like that. I have them. I collected them whenever I was younger, and now I've got more guitars I know what to do with. And that is something that will probably change in this game room throughout time, but that is a part of my history. That is a reason why those are up in here. And there are other things in this room too that's like, why is there so much Coca-Cola stuff in here? Well, a lot of you may not know, but I used to actually work for Coca-Cola. I worked for Coca-Cola Bottling Company United. Wow, I got my tongue twisted saying that. And so there is a lot of Coca-Cola stuff. There's stuff that I got from the company while I was there. There's stuff that I bought myself. I've always loved Coca-Cola. It's one of my favorite products. I know everybody's going to be kind of different about that. You may not drink soda yourself, and I've slowed down, getting older, trying to keep some weight off, trying to cut out the soft drinks and whatnot, but I've always loved Coca-Cola. I love that job. I love driving the big 18-wheeler, and Christmas time driving the actual Coca-Cola Christmas truck, which is a 18-wheeler with Santa Claus on it and Christmas lights. Very cool part of my life. So that's why you see a lot of Coca-Cola stuff in here. Now, I do not have a shop built just yet. There will be a shop in the future here. Obviously, I want a shop, be able to go out there, tinker, and work on stuff. I like building things. I like fixing things. And that's why I have my roll-around Craftsman toolbox in here. It's got all my tools and stuff in it. I wasn't leaving it outside to get ruined or anything. So that's why there's a random gigantic tool chest in the room with tools and stuff on it. And it's also nice just to be able to walk in here, grab something if I need it, if I'm working in the house or anything. It might stay in here, but it really doesn't go with the theme of what I want to eventually have in here. So that's here for now. You'll probably see that change in the future. Just addressing why that's there. Over here is my PC. I do have a actual really nice PC. I've got Steam installed on it. We don't have good internet here at the house just yet. Throughout the years, we've been kind of just working off of a hotspot. We've actually got in-ground cable being run by a company out here right now, and they're supposed to come install it next week. So once I have really good internet here, this is going to be something really nice in this room. I'm looking forward to a lot more PC gaming and learning, playing stuff online and things like that. Might even do some streaming in the future. It depends on my work schedule, how much time I have that I can actually devote into that. So streaming is something that I would like to do one day. I think that I actually would be okay doing it. Like I said, it depends on my work schedule, because I work all from home and most of the time staying in hotels and stuff. I'm not home every night in order to be able to focus and dedicate a lot of time to streaming. So if you've ever wondered, well, how come I haven't started streaming? That's a lot of the reason why. It's not because I don't have the equipment. It's not because I wouldn't want to do it. It's not because I don't have the know-how how to do it. I could learn, just like everybody else did. Just a time thing. But there are games on this computer. There is a lot of stuff on Steam that I have. So there's a lot of games that, while you may not see them in the collection, a physical copy, I've got stuff, that was digital download on my Xboxes, my PS5 that's in the living room, my Nintendo Switch is, I have games outside of what you're going to see here. So this is just the physical stuff that we're about to get into now. Yep, this chair has certainly seen better days. I think I've had this gaming chair, at least 6-7 years. I had this chair before I even moved in this house, and I'm actually coming up on the 6th year that I've been in this house. So yeah, it's probably 7-8 years I know I'm talking really fast and I'm trying to burn through as much of this stuff as possible, and we're about to get into, the real nitty gritty of this whole entire video and the showcase of what I actually have as far as video games. But I feel like I need to stop and kind of take a breather for a minute and kind of explain to you guys something. So this is the only picture that I have of me and my brother whenever we were little playing video games together. Back then nobody had a cell phone in their hand. You couldn't just take pictures on the fly. What we had back then was those disposable Kodiak cameras. You got like 25 pictures out of them. A lot of times people would buy them when they were going on vacation and whatnot. Mom might have one of those laying around the house. She had old VHS camcorders and things. So the ability to be able to walk around and just take pictures all the time really wasn't there. But whatever was going on this night, I am very glad that my mom took the time to take this picture to get it, because this right here is the definition of me as a child and how much influence my brother had on me and why this is a thing in my life now. So I don't know how much of a glare the camera's going to put on this photo, but there's a picture of my brother playing the N64, the same N64 that I've got in my room right now. And actually the controller he is holding, that purple, clear, whatever color you want to call it, that transparent, translucent, I don't know. That controller is actually up there in a shadow box right now. It actually stopped working, so I was able to put it up, and I'm like, this is the actual controller that my brother was sitting there holding in this photo. My brother was just one of the best. He was a real good person. He was really kind. He loved people. He didn't just sit around just playing video games, if that's the idea you're getting about my brother. He did everything. He went outside. We played outside. We went hunting. We rode four-wheelers. As he got older, he was involved in sports, and he was on the fire department. He was just an all-around great guy. But this is one of the things that I remember about my brother, is that video games were really his go-to thing, for entertainment and what he really loved at the end of the day. We grew up with the mindset of we could have video games, we could play video games, but video games was the reward we got at the end of the day whenever all our chores were done, all our homework was done. We helped out around the house, had all our clothes hung up, which I was not the best in the world. I had a messy room my entire life. I'm not even about to sit here and act like I never had a messy room or anything. At the end of the day, that last hour, 2 hours, whatever we had before our bedtime, and yes, we had a bedtime. Our parents made us go to bed at 8 o'clock, 8:30. We had school the next day. They were very strict about that. When we got older, they got a little bit more lenient. But as kids, you got a bedtime. This is how long you got to play games. When we say they go off, they go off. And that is something that I kind of miss about the old days. As far as internet and social media and things we have now, I'm not trying to, get too far off in this video, but I kind of miss the days whenever you shut it off and you left it at home, and it was something to look forward to whenever you got back home. And in most cases that is today, but now, you've got like a Nintendo Switch and Steam OLED or whatever, and those are fantastic devices. I love them myself, and I have them and I use them. But there's something about, I remember just when you shut the internet off, it was there. It was left there, and you went out into the world and you saw the world for what it was. You enjoyed the world. You were more sociable. That is an aspect of life that I do miss. And I'm just grateful that our parents were strict enough to give us boundaries and rules, but they allowed us to have fun and enjoy things. So I feel like it's a good balance of, we had video games, we loved them, we enjoyed them, and it's something that I got to hold on to and cherish in my life. But at the same time, I was taught not to just depend on this all the time. The ability to be able to put things down and go out in the world and enjoy it for what it was, and be able to do this at the very end of the day whenever I have time. And I still apply that in my life today. I wake up, I go to work, I talk to my wife and things, and at the end of the day, if I have 30 minutes or something to pick up the Nintendo Switch when I'm sitting in the hotel room, or the PS5, Xbox, whatever it is, then that's my little bit of gaming time. And it keeps me connected to, a memory with my brother. People wonder why I kept on to this stuff, and why this is important to me, why I love this, is because this reminds me of him, my brother. This was one thing that we had together. We played video games together. We enjoyed it. We loved it. And so, yeah, this picture here, this is all reason why this is a thing. And I miss him dearly. I wish he was still here today to see all the different games and things we have now. But, I know that he's always here with me. So let's get back to the game room tour. I've spent the last 3 to 5 minutes trying to figure out the best angle to put this camera for this. So I think that this is the best view. So we're just going to roll with this for now. This is a CRTV that my mama had. And she was under the impression that it didn't work no more. And so I brought it home, tinkered around with it a little bit, and miraculously got it to working. Now, I'm not sitting here telling y'all that I took the back off of this thing and did some solder and wiring. I'm talking about I literally wiggled cables around, and eventually the buttons finally worked. Don't know, can't explain it to you. This is a RCA, like 19-inch flat screen old CRTV, and whenever she was wanting to get rid of it and throw it away, I'm like, no. Let me have it. Now I know that brand may not register with everybody. I know that like the Sony Trinitrons is like the holy grail of CRTVs for retro video game people, and you know, hey, I agree with you. Those are phenomenal TVs. Don't have access to one of those, and I really ain't got the money to spend on an old CRTV. So when my mama said she was throwing this away, I was like, what the heck? Let's give it a try. And oh boy, does it feel rewarding. This thing has got an amazing picture on it. And there is something different I'm wanting to do with this overall wall in this area. Now, you may notice the old Christmas wreath that's right up here above it. I've got a breast cancer symbol on that wreath, and my wife made the sticker that say Fearless Faith. It's got a pink bandana, and that wreath is actually one that I made in honor of my aunt who passed away after battling cancer for almost 5 years. And the reason why that wreath was made was because when I was working for Coca-Cola, they allowed me to put Christmas wreaths on the front of my personal truck, my 18-wheeler that I drove around on my route, delivered, and I did Christmas wreaths. Well, my very last year, right before I quit, was the month of October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I made that wreath right before I left and was able to drive around on the front of my Coca-Cola truck. And that was one of the greatest things ever. I keep trying to not get off of the retro video game stuff, but there's so much other stuff in here that, like, it all ties in to itself at some point, I guess. I don't know. The CRTV is absolutely amazing. I've got, of course, Super Mario World playing on here right now. I've got a stack of DVD collection up there. I have got stuff just all over the place. And this stand that the TV's sitting on, this is actually one of my towers that I built. I didn't buy this from IKEA or some furniture store. Like, I actually built this entertainment center that you're seeing pieces of throughout the room. And I just turned this on inside to where it could be down here at eye level. I love the CRTV, and for the Super Nintendo, the N64, consoles up around that area, it works phenomenal. It's great, got an amazing picture on it. If you see the lines going across it, and probably some of my B-roll footage, whatever, that's just something with TV and video. So don't pay no attention, that's not doing that in real life. But I'm still wanting to do something else over here. Oh yeah, I can also mention the Toshiba VHS player that my mother-in-law so graciously found and gave to me. I was actually able to use that VCR to rip a bunch of old footage that my mom had on old VHS tapes from home. And I was able to compile it and make the video that you guys saw like this also here on my YouTube channel. I took one of these little devices. This was kind of expensive, like $150 freaking, but it was so worth it. It's so easy to convert your files over. I'm gonna have to do a video about this device itself because it was pretty awesome. Just put the tape in your VHS player, it will be HDMI to your computer, and it's able to just flawlessly convert everything over to digital files. And yeah, that's how I was able to do what I did with life. So this CRTV is amazing, don't get me wrong. However, I've got my mom and dad's old Sony Bravia that's pretty much in that plasma era. So whenever it gets to like my PS2, around Xbox 360, PS3, or around that area, original Xbox that I still have, that's what I'm using for that. And videos work well with that. I was trying to play Ratchet and Clank on this with PS2. I have my PS2 over here as well, and I just preferred that TV over this. Super Nintendo, yeah, 100% looks great on here. We'll keep this TV around for that. It's only Sony Bravia though, Mom and Dad, that TV's like 20 years old almost. 20 years old? That's bad. Almost 20 years old. Well, no, I take that back. That TV's more like, I don't know, 13 years old. I don't know. They got it sometime around like 2010, 2011. Yeah, like almost 15 years old, not 20. I've been a little too far there. They had a much bigger version of this like 20 years ago in our living room. Now, as far as I can remember, this is my very first personal TV that I ever had in my room. This sucker right here, this is an Orion. Still works, still turns on. There's no color to this TV. It is a black and white TV. It is true. I just don't have it plugged in right now. I ain't got nothing set up for it. It doesn't even have a RCA cable hooked up. It's just that old antenna RF connector, if you guys know what I'm talking about. If I get one for the Super Nintendo, I can play that over on here. There really ain't much else I can hook up to this thing. But I kept it because it's like my first TV that I ever remember. I remember having a VHS player hooked up to this thing. I don't know, I guess they had RF connectors for them VHS other than RCA. RCA is the earliest thing that I remember. So, yeah, I need to work on this and make a display out of this in this room one day. But for now, it sits on top of the Coca-Cola mini fridge. When I tell y'all this was one of the best investments I ever made in my life, this was $350 off of Amazon at the time. And I was like, I want a mini fridge, and this one here looks the coolest out of all of them that I've seen. And I've had other mini fridges before. Them suckers might last a year, 2 years tops. I have had this thing going on 10 years now. Because I started work at Coca-Cola in 2016, it's 2025, and towards the very end of 2016 is whenever I went and bought this thing. So this sucker's almost 10 years old, and it is freezing cold in there right now. Don't have any drinks in there right now because honestly I've been using the refrigerator in our kitchen. I might have like a 2 liter or something here at the house for the weekends whenever I'm home, so there's really no need to stockpile this thing full. But boy, I am very surprised at how long this thing has lasted. Like, if it went out right now, I got my money's worth. Please don't do that, by the way. When I tell y'all I have so many plans, so many ideas for this room, that I could spend all day just talking about the future of this room. You see how it's got that real bad glare on the Sony Bravia right here? That's because I got a window in this room that I am going to be putting a curtain over to block that out, so that is going to be something else that changes in due time. The walls are kind of bare. The whole reason why that reach right there to kind of soak up some of that just whole entire wall. Posters, I plan on putting posters. We'll put some LED lights up at the top. I might even see if I can find like some type of video game style ceiling fan to change out here and replace just that little ugly dome, the little boogie light that we have in the house. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but like I said, this is what we got going on for now. So now we pull our attention over to our Sony Bravia. This was my mom and dad's. They graciously gave it to me whenever they updated their TV at their house because they knew I would keep it, take care of it. And this thing just, honestly, it works just as good as new TVs. It's just not a smart TV at all. HDMI hooked up. We got the original Xbox. Whenever we got the Xbox 360, we got the Xbox One. I have a Project Scorpio. Xbox One X is in the living room. My newer consoles are in the living room. PS5, Nintendo Switches. I don't have an Xbox Series X, but I do have the Project Scorpio Xbox One X that's in there as well. It works phenomenal on that TV. PS3, PS2. Used to have a PS4, but I sold it to a friend of mine for like $200. At the time, I was just sneaking cash. This was years ago. Kind of wish I still had it now, but I can always pick another PS4 to add to this collection. And I'm eventually get a PS1 like my brother had too, so that I'll have an entire array. Like I've got the entire PlayStation collection, I'll have the entire Xbox collection, the entire Nintendo collection. I've got to get a Wii U, got to get a Wii, got to get a GameCube. Like, all I need is time and money. And I ain't got money right now for this stuff, so we just want to enjoy it for what it is now. Okay, I am not going to go through every single game that's on this shelf over here because this would just be way too long. It's already been way too long. I've already diverted too much. I've already told y'all too much stuff about other stuff you probably don't even care about. So I'm going to try to run through these real quick and tell you some of my favorites. So we're going to start off up here at the very top shelf, which is my PS1 collection. PS1 collection's not really that large. Whenever my brother passed away. The whole family gathered at my dad's house to shop because my dad and some friends of the family people went over to my brother's apartment where he was living, gathered his things, got him out of the apartment, brought him to my dad's shop, and his mom came, his other brother, my sister, my brother-in-law, the family came over there, and it was pretty much like who gets what. I ended up with a surround sound system from my brother, which actually broke 2 weeks after I got it put in my room. It was just a old cheap little knockoff thing that they had. My sister ended up with his Xbox. His GameCube went to somebody, don't know exactly who it went to. His PS1, I believe he still had his PS1 at the time. It went somewhere else. I only ended up with his copy of Halo 2, Need for Speed Underground 2. These are like two of my favorite games of all time. And if there is something else up here that was of his, I'll find it and tell you guys about it while we're doing this. But I believe that that's what I ended up getting from my brother, all his video game stuff. So we start off up here, the PS1 collection. The whole reason I brought that up about my brother is because he had PS1 games, but I never got any of those games or anything. We've got Spyro the Dragon, you can see right here, collector's edition. It's like the main focus point that's sticking out. This was my game when I was a little kid, the open world, the music, and just something about this whole entire series right here just absolutely captivated. I will say that later on in years, I eventually got to see what Enter the Dragonfly was all about on PS2, and I was like, what in the world happened? But anyway, there's plenty of videos on that and other people, and you might actually like Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. I just thought the PS1 original trilogy of Spyro was great. I am very thankful and happy that they remastered it and brought it to, or remade it, brought it to Nintendo Switch and all the other platforms, so that's pretty sweet. Speaking of Spyro, I don't know how many people recognize this or remember what this was. This is a Pizza Hut demo disc that would be given out to random people. My brother ended up with this very copy right here. Now, this is, when I say that, this is not the one that he brought home at the time. This just got destroyed. We were kids. We weren't really careful with stuff. I found this in Baltimore. Me and my brother-in-law were working up there. One weekend we decided, we didn't have nothing else to do. We were up there. We decided to go explore. We found a video game retro store, and I saw this sitting on the shelf. I said, I got to have it. It's part of my childhood. I remember this. I remember getting so geared up for Spyro 2 because I was playing the mess out of the first Spyro. Whenever I saw a little clip from it on this one, that's what I asked for Christmas, and that's what my mom got me, was the collector's edition that had all three of them in it. I didn't even know the third one was out, and I was like, where have I been? Got Sim Theme Park for the PC. That's one of my favorite games. If you had to ask me what my first video game ever was, my mind takes me back to Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo. That's what I can pretty much remember. But there was also another game that I remember. My mom and dad had an old PC, like a gateway PC. So I can't remember what the brand was. Just one of them old bubble little home office deals. It had the walnut furniture thing around it, and it could play games at the time. And the game that I remember the most from my childhood, I'm gonna cover up the second one, was Lego Island. Yeah, I think this was like the first Lego game that ever came out. And the open world, going around, getting to be a Lego character, building cars. This game is so simple, and it's so cheeky and cheesy, and a lot of people saying that it hasn't aged well, which, I mean, this stuff's old, it was cool for the time, I guess. Maybe it wasn't. I was a little kid, I was just amazed that I was able to be a Lego character and build stuff. But I've been seeing like old gameplay footage of this game because I haven't played it in so long, and I'm like, that game was really like, I don't know. You ever done that before? Like, you try to describe something, like, I don't know what it was. It was bland, it was not a whole lot going on, but at the same time, it was everything. I don't know, to me it was anyway. Lego Island 2 came out later on. I didn't really care that much for Lego Island 2. I guess it was an improvement. Some people might like it more, but I always thought the first Lego Island was the best. Got some random SNES games with their other PC games. Those are the Coca-Colas you get from Galaxy's Edge if you go to Disney World. PlayStation 2 games, I've got Ratchet and Clank on display. Super Nintendo. I need to address these cases because I already know some people are probably not going to agree with me on this. These, of course, are reproduction cases. This is not what Super Nintendo games came in at the time. This is a sealed up copy of Top Gear, believe it or not. But that's all the case pretty much is. It's just artwork and a clear case. It is the box art, you know, from the boxes themselves. Reproduction. It's not the original case, obviously. But whenever I find most of these games, and they're for a good price and I want to add them to the collection, they're mostly loose anyway. So I found a company, at the time that I was buying these, they were on Etsy, and they moved from the Etsy shop. Now they have their own company, own a website, and they do these custom cases. I like them. I think they're cool. I think they're awesome. I prefer this over the boxes themselves. This seems a little bit more weather tempered. If for some reason, you know, water got in here or whatever, it feels like this would last better than the original boxes were. I don't know why that would be a problem. I'm hoping to God there's no water in this house at any point in my life, but I mean, you never know. So I've got custom cases for my Super Nintendo's games and my N64 games. This is my copy of Super Mario 3 that I found in a store for like $20. I don't even have the first NES, the first Nintendo Entertainment System, but this game is one of my favorites of all time, and I saw it, I was like, I'm gonna snag this real quick. So I am working on getting a box and everything for this. And don't worry about me, because I'm not trying to resell this stuff, or at least not now. I'm not anyway. I'm not going to be one of those people that gets reproduction cases and stuff like, oh yeah, this is all original. No, this is reproduction. If something's original, you can tell. I'll tell you guys. This is just me trying to be a collector and have nice stuff and complete sets of what I really like. We got the case for Donkey Kong Country up there. Here's all the rest of my Super Nintendos. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 Super Nintendo games. And this is a copy of Super Black Bass. This was one of my favorite games. My brother used to play this all the time. This is original sealed. This is the original sealed. Never been opened, never been played. I've got another copy of it right here. I think we were at a flea market in Jackson, and the guy had 2 copies of this. He had this copy, which is the original box, but it's not sealed, and then he had this one, which was sealed. And I think I was able to pick up both of these for like $50. I don't know. It might have been cheaper than that. It might have been a little bit more. It was a few years back, but like if I want to play the game, I can play it, and I got this, I can keep sealed. So that's freaking awesome. This may not be like one of those high quality games that's worth tens of thousands of dollars or anything like that. It's just cool to have something that's factory sealed from back then. Like this is true, real right here. And I'm gonna show you something. If you're ever trying to figure out if something is factory sealed from back in the day, you can usually tell by the shrink wrap itself. Number one, it's old, it's brittle, you know, it might have some old dust marks to it or something like that, light scratches. I mean, it's going to have wear and tear on it, obviously, but there's a little hidden detail in this stuff. Now, a master at putting wrap on this thing can obviously mimic this and, you know, whatever, but you usually can tell by old shrink wrap stuff that's old vintage sealed. It's got like these old bubble ends on it right here where it kind of comes together and mends. Usually if you see that right there, you know that this is true and this is real. But I mean, you can look at this and you can just tell like this is from back then. This is like straight out of the factory, wherever they were making these things from. So that's cool. My N64 collection. Got cases for them too. I love these cases. Like I said, they might not be everybody's favorite. You may like the original boxes and artwork. I love the original boxes and artwork too. I don't know. I think me also putting this in this also lets people know like this is reproduction. Obviously they didn't come out in this. You know, I'm not going to try to resell this to anybody and be like, yeah, this is all original. It was just like this back in 1997, 98, whenever this game came out. Speaking of this game, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, this phenomenal game. I know everybody always says Super Mario 64, Mario Party, things like that, Mario Kart, Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, all amazing, phenomenal games. I love them too. For some reason, this is like my favorite N64 game. I just loved Rogue Squadron. Rogue Squadron 2 was great on the GameCube. Rogue Squadron 3, I kind of fell off after that, but why is this not on the Nintendo Switch? Why can't I play this on there? Please make that happen. Anyway, my N64 collection's not really that great right now. I am planning on working on improving it. 64 N64 games, boy, they're proud of them things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 N64 games that, of course, obviously have a case. Well, 8 that have a case, 9 that don't. This is a random little baseball N64 game. When I see stuff like this, you know, this was $2. This is $2 right here. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on that. I wasn't going to. I see $2, like, I'll just grab it and add it to the collection. I am working on getting the case ready. Any other Super Nintendo games are over there still. All right, so PS3 games. One of my favorites, Need for Speed, Pro Street. We got Force Unleashed, the Ultimate Zip Edition. We got the Ratchet and Clank games that are on here. Midnight Club Los Angeles. You know, Saints Row. Come over here to the PS4 selection. I don't have that many because when I sold my PS4, you know, a lot of the games kind of went with it. Or I think I sold like 3 or 4 games with the PS4 whenever I sold it. And of course, whenever I sold my PS4, there was no reason to collect for it anymore. So I got them over here. Original Xbox games. You know, my favorite game of all time was on the original Xbox, and that would be Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, this game right here, oh my God, this blew my mind. I could not get over how awesome this game was. I can't tell you the amount of hours that I have spent into this game. And no matter what, it's the same thing every time I play it over and over and over. Like years. It's on the Nintendo Switch now. I've been playing it on that. But to be honest with you, I've always claimed that this was my #1 pick out of all games, and it's great. It's phenomenal. If you never played this before, I highly encourage it. Maybe your experience will be different. People like different things for different reasons. I loved the first one, but especially with the restored content that you can get on Steam, Star Wars Knights of the Republic 2, the second part, I think this is starting to take over and actually be my favorite. I feel like the writing was better with the second one. The story was a lot more cooler. I don't know, like, it sucks because what's here in the Xbox edition, the edition that came out, they cut so much content in order to get it released for a holiday season. I think it was 2004. Yeah, because this came out in 03, this released in 04. So they cut a lot of content out of this, but if you have Steam, you can actually get restored content mod for that, and it's amazing. It's phenomenal. I will say, you know, I said the thing earlier about Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. They did a great job with Hero's Tale. I liked Hero's Tale. The one part of Hero's Tale I never cared for was playing as a freaking mole, whatever his name was. But that game was pretty sweet. All my games are alphabeticalized. All my games are in alphabetical order. How about that? So we got Xbox 360 games. There's nothing really that crazy or special there. It's just like the typical Gears of War, Grand Theft Auto 5, Assassin's Creed 3. We got Halo, Minecraft. We got, you know, South Park, Stick of Truth. I mean, it's just typical run-of-the-mill stuff. It's nothing to write home about spending time on. Xbox One, got a pretty decent selection of Xbox One. Instead of going through all these, I guess I'll just pick out what would probably be my favorite one of all. I don't know, because there's different titles that I like. If I had to pick any of them, I guess I'd pick Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 was phenomenal. It was awesome. There was so much to do in this game. It's a game that I haven't played in quite a while, so if I get bored or something, this might be one of the games I revisit here in the future. Never played online, always done campaign stuff. This was a phenomenal game. Like, when they announced Red Dead Redemption 3, you can best believe I'll be jumping hoops for that. But for now, where's Grand Theft Auto 6? Where's the trailer for it? We're waiting. And then I got some GameCubes down there. Nothing really to write home about. Some of the GameCube cases are actually missing the game. Nintendo Switch games, there's only a few. Most of the time with my Nintendo Switch, I'm on the road. I just download it, go straight to the console itself. I will tell you, I have the Legend of Zelda Special Edition, Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo Switch console up there. I love it. I love it. It's one of those OLED Switch editions. Well, sorry about that. I ran out of storage on my phone, so that's the universe telling me, like, hey, dude, you might want to wrap this up. It is getting a little bit too long. So that's pretty much the wall of games and stuff that are here. I've got a couple boxes of random things that are up here. I had other boxes of stuff from my childhood or whatever, but they accidentally got thrown away throughout time. stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much the room tour for now. So I hope you guys liked the room tour. This is my first one of hopefully many that'll come out. Who knows what this room will look like next year, because I'm always changing stuff, moving stuff around. And we're going to try to do this at the beginning of every year after New Year's, and just see how the game room comes along, what changes, if it's still in this room, if it's in another house, or we build something outside to put this stuff in. I don't know. We'll see where life takes us. So I've enjoyed bringing you guys along. Hope you guys have enjoyed the game room, what it is for now anyway. I love you guys very much. Hey, I love video games. I love video games. I like doing retro stuff. If you guys like this type of content, you want to see more, make sure you comment. You let me know. Like, hey, dude, like I actually like this. I like old gaming stuff or whatever. So yeah, make sure you write it down in the comments below. And I want to say I want to play video games, but I ain't got time. I got like a million other things to try to get done today. So I love you guys very much. I've enjoyed having you guys along for today. Keep gaming, be happy, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, my friends and fam.